I've been blathering on for the last like 3 minutes without the mic turned on. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. It's gonna be one of those mornings over here, apparently. Okay. What all did I just say? Oh wow. Sorry. Well, I was talking about where I am with this set. It's 6 pieces altogether that I'm currently working on. This one is the furthest behind. I still haven't come up with my figurative element, like that I'm painting on these. To put on here, I have some half ideas, but clearly I need to get this one figured out ASAP so I can start to bring it up to speed with the others. These two, the figurative pieces, are done, and I even started adding some other textures and things, so they're getting close. These 3 still have some actual work to be done on the paintings. I was just detail on the fish part of my ladyfish here. I'm going to add a few more stripes. Monday night, I started going to add the stripes. I added 1 and then I got distracted. But you know, night times, that's, for me, that's gonna be just part of how things go. My mushroom lady, I have some more mushrooms to paint in. I got a few done, but a little more detail to make it really clear what's happening there. And then a lot more texture on these guys, and of course my collage text bits. This guy's very nearly done. I'm not that thrilled with where the lips are yet, and I'm kind of going back and forth onto whether I should just kind of paint over them with a completely different set of lips, or if I can just add a little bit more detail to these to make them work for me. So a little back and forth on that, and I started this little like candy necklace on this guy that will need just a little bit of detail, like little highlights. So that's where these are. We're getting close. And I also have grabbed a few magazines because a couple of these, I'm not really happy with what I have so far for my like text element. Just a little loose corner here. We'll fix that. So we'll have some fun. We'll go through some of these, like Women's Day 1951, 1952 for every woman, the Woman's Guide to Better Living, I'm sure. And then a 2018 Cosmopolitan. So, you know, nothing that I'd call high quality reading, but things that I've collected as time's gone on to use for these purposes. It's nice to have like an ongoing collection. Anytime I'm at thrift stores or I'm gonna, as long as I'm chatting, I'm gonna just kind of repair a few of these corners that aren't quite down as well as they should be. Thrift stores, antique malls, even online. And I also look at a few magazines I bought at the Waste Shed in Evanston, Illinois, which is a great store that sells semi-used art supplies. So they're fun to go through and look for things. And so some of my 1950s Life and 60s Life magazines came from there. You just never know what you're going to find. Some of the more recent ones ordered online. Like I got a stack of Cosmos on Mercari. I think I paid like $7 for 10 of them or something like that. And Etsy has some that I've looked at, but then you're paying like $7, $8 a piece for the older magazines. So I'm not against that, but I am kind of, poor artist. I mean, I'm not starving or anything, but you gotta be judicious with where you spend your money. So I tried to find the random deals. And every now and again you come across something great. So always, whether I'm working on a particular project or not, have my eyes open for collecting that kind of material. So you never know when you're gonna find something good. Of course, some of that does require going out into the world a little bit. But the weather's gorgeous these days, so much more inviting to go outside and tool around a little bit. Half Price Books is another place where I found some things. They are not usually gonna have like a lot of old magazines. I think I maybe found a couple there that were a couple of years old, but usually their stuff is much more contemporary and current, and that's kind of their idea. I have found some really weird ones there. I wonder if I can find it real quick. I may not be able to. Here somewhere. I found it. Okay, this is a weird one. And I know that there's something for everybody in the world, and there's all sorts of interests. Hot Doll. This is a magazine dedicated to people who are into dolls, and it's sort of an art thing. And there's also a little bit of a erotic vibe to some of it. Some of it's about building them and making them, but they're very, like, this is not for kids dolls. I mean, this is a whole nother thing that I had no idea even existed. So, yeah, this was something I found, and I haven't actually cut anything out and used it from here yet. It's just so weird and interesting, and I mean, some of it's crazy cool. It's just a whole little okay, let's not show that on YouTube. Don't want to get in trouble. It's just a whole weird thing. I love it, and I'm enthralled. Although, probably not going much deeper down that rabbit hole. Okay. So we can start out today doing a little bit of the painting here on the guys that still need just a little tweak with painting. So got most of my stuff out. I think fairly prepared for the day. It really is beautiful. It's like we're on this run of 80-degree days in the middle of April, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I was out yesterday picking up some things, and just like I was wearing a short sleeve shirt and some jeans rolled up, and I was hot. Like, I'm not there yet mentally. I'm not ready to be hot outside yet. I need more of a transition, but it is lovely. I have the windows open. I have a fan in the windows. Hopefully there's not going to be any lawn mowing going on outside while we're doing this. I'll have to run over and close it, which is fine, but it is really nice to have a fan in the window. And the sun shining, blue skies. Just kind of all of a sudden. I think maybe this weekend we're going to cool down a little bit back to semi-normal temperatures around here. And for anybody who is not in my immediate vicinity, I am outside of Chicago, Illinois. Midwest, Northern Illinois, suburban. Okay. Let me turn on the brain here. What am I doing? I need some purple and some brown, a little red, and all the things. I can move things over a little bit so we're a little more centered, and I can have my palette full on view. Still, I'm sorry about the sound thing when I started. I kind of somehow apparently put my mic on mute without realizing it, and I didn't think to check that. Is also why I have an iPad tablet over here right below my camera so that I can sort of see, like, I don't have any sound on, of course, because I'll just be hearing an echo when I talk, but just to keep track and make sure that everything's functioning properly and I can see any chat. About a week ago, I think it was, my lovely furry companion, Watson, the cat, was getting bored and walking around my desk and somehow walked across my keyboard. Did this twice, somehow. Walked across my keyboard and managed to bump the stream into my streaming soon screen. So, it was kind of amazing. And I think the fact that he did it once and it worked, he purposefully repeated whatever action because it got a response. He is definitely that kind of cat that will, like, I'm bored, I'm going to do something to get a response out of you. And if it works, I'm going to keep doing that. Love him dearly, but he is a character. I think maybe a little yellow ochre, because we're going to have some earthy tones in here, so that's why I'm breaking out some brown and such. And let me think, that might about do it for what I'm painting here. Maybe just a touch of some blue. Just a wee bit, just in case. And that will get us started. All right, more sip of coffee before we jump in. So, you know, gotta be awake and on it. And truly, I'm loving the setup I have for having all this table space. I am putting together a little video that I'm editing to show the process where I've broken down the old studio, built the desks, and redid things. It shows a little bit about that process, and I talk probably a little bit more in depth about some of the decisions that I made and such. I'm working on that currently. So once I have that edited and finished, we'll get that uploaded. And well, as long as we are working on the tiny paintings, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see a little better what I'm doing here. I think that does it. All right. Casting a little bit of a shadow. Just trying to think. There's such great sunlight today that I haven't turned on any light, so we're kind of just working with the natural light, but it is coming from that way, so when I put my hand here, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Try to not block it too much as I go. And also, try not to have my head under the camera. Like, if you really get into the details of things and I'm like looking over like that and then you just see the back of my head, nobody wants that. All right, I need to mix more paint than that. There we go. And we're just adding a few little stripes on this guy, and I'll go back in and add some shadow and highlight to them also as I go. Just kind of gonna get them in place, letting them create a bit of the shape and curve of the fish, this weirdo fish from my imagination. And come on. I wasn't going to fix that stripe, but then I had the paint and I thought, why not? Start over on everything. And I started adding some shadows and highlights, but I was being a little loose with it and not really paying attention. I'm excited. In 2 weeks the other art fair is going to be in Chicago. It is a lot of the big art fairs are put on by, like, to get your artwork put into the big serious art fairs for collectors, you have to be represented by a gallery who's going to take your work there and showcase it. The other art fair, and there's one or two other ones like Superfine, which that one doesn't happen in Chicago, are entirely, the artists are representing themselves there. And I've never gone before, but it's something that I'd be interested in maybe eventually applying to be a part of in another year or two, as I feel like I've got a good, a more solid body of work. I've thought about that. So I want to go and check it out. And I was even just looking this morning at what's going to be happening there. And I'm super excited. There's workshops, there's like collage workshops that you can sign up for. I just ordered tickets to attend one of them, and there's somebody going to be doing tintype portraits if you wanted to have that done. There's going to be installations and immersive art and that's all just besides the 100+ artists that are just setting up their booths. There's going to be so much cool stuff there. I'm really looking forward to it. It's like so much more than just artists with booths trying to sell their stuff. It's like this whole showcase of kind of Chicago arts, not just Chicago arts, but widely. So yeah, I'm really excited. A friend of mine, a very, very good friend from out of town, is going to meet me in Chicago, and we're going to do that and make a day of it. And I also found that there's a used bookstore near where that is, so that's exciting. I love used bookstores. I don't know. I've talked many times about how I'm kind of terrible at reading books. Like, I buy books and I'm often don't finish them, or it takes me a really long time to finish them. Like an embarrassingly long time. So I'll like start them and then forget that I have them and end up just with piles, or it's like, oh yeah, I want to read that book. And I think that when I don't have the time to sit down and read, but then when I have the time to sit down and read, I forget. Because usually at that point I'm tired and my brain's done for the day. So it's kind of funny. Anyway, but yes, I believe that there is some like word for that, like a Japanese word for people who buy books and then the books sit, like where you collect books and then your books sit unread. That's me. But I've been trying to be better. I was really actively working at it earlier this winter, finished a book that I'd started a year ago, and then I've read a little bit of a couple other books, but I haven't really like followed through and gotten any, like really paid attention and gotten some reading done. And I need to. Got a lot of really, I think, good books, and I've ordered another one based on a very strong recommendation. What is that one called? I'll tell you what it is in a second here. I just ordered it because, and this was funny. Oh, darn it, I didn't finish that. Okay, where am I at? I was gonna look at my email real quick so I could find the order, where I placed the order, and it is Refuse to Choose, a revolutionary program for doing everything that you love. And I'd posted a video on TikTok where I was talking about like the recognizing the difference between like just going down rabbit holes and like what's a legitimately good idea. Because I'm that person that will be one day out of nowhere I decide you know what? I really should build my own headboard for my bed. And I'll start like reading about woods and watching videos of people doing it and looking up plans for how you can build a headboard and install it in your bed with absolutely no access to a space to do that and no power tools and and after a while, after a few hours of that, it's like coming out of a fever dream and you're like, why did I just spend 3-4 hours looking into this when I can't even do this thing? Like that's me. But so yes, anyway. I posted a video kind of talking about that a little bit, like, because I have plenty of other ideas and rabbit holes that I'm thinking about pursuing, and somebody responded, an artist who does lovely children's books. She did a what is it called? Is it not a duet, where she like took a little bit of my video and then made her own video in response, a video response to that question, and talked about how that book like really, really changed her life and helped her. And then in the comments, there were all these people that are like, yes, that book is amazing, changed my life. So I'm like, all right, I can take a hint. And I ordered it through Better World Books, which is, as I mentioned, how much I love used bookstores. It is an online used bookstore. For every book that you order through them, they donate books to schools, and they plant trees, and it's also a matter, you're also kind of keeping some things out of landfills, you know, when you order those books that way. So I tend to look there. I like Better World Books. There's a couple other places online that also sell used books. You're not always going to find the thing that you want that way. There's like any kind of shopping, but yeah, I really like them. And yeah, I think I got it used. It was going to be like $6. And so waiting for that to arrive. And we'll see how long it takes me to read that one. Yeah. And I have other books about creativity, several that I've started. I have a few lovely fiction books, which I'm very terrible at reading fiction. I'm always like the idea of just like relaxing and losing myself in a story, but I'm not great at finding stories that really speak to me and then sticking with them. But I have a friend who writes books, and she wrote this lovely set, and they're kind of like allegorical fantasy, but not like children's fantasy, more like I kind of compare it to like Neil Gaiman's books. And I need to finish reading those. And I'm very embarrassed because this is somebody who is a friend and is extremely talented, and I think like what I've read so far is really wonderful. I just need to finish. Need to get it done, need to read them. And I think that I've mentioned her books on not a stream, but a video from a while back. But if you are curious to look them up, the series is North, East, South, and West, and they're by L.J. Faro. Really lovely. As I've not, obviously, as I've said, not finished them, but as I understand it, each book kind of centers around a different character, but of the same world that somehow starts to coalesce at a certain point. As I understand it. And I have actually read or seen some synopses of a few books that I'm interested in reading also. I saw a talk by an author that just published this book, Hit Girls, Women of Punk Rock from like 1970 something to 1983 or something. It's something along those lines. I'd have to look up the name of the author exactly, but it's Hit Girls, and it's a new book. And it's women in punk rock, and that's something that, you know, I have a soft spot for that stuff. I enjoy it very much. A lot of it. And I go through different periods where I kind of pull up and listen to the music. And just, you know, if you're in the right frame of mood, it's good. It just feeds you the right way. And there's another just straight fiction book that I read about called Tell Me I'm an Artist. And it's about an art school student, college student. And I'm very interested in maybe getting a hold of that and checking it out. So those are things that I keep an eye out for. But I try to keep it together too, because growing stacks of books that I'm not getting read is also not, you know, maybe the best way to spend my energy and money unless I get some of these books read. I'm also a very slow reader, which doesn't help. It's like this, and it's the reason being that I lose focus, and at a certain point, and it's no longer absorbing, so I like reread the same passage, the same page over and over again until I just give up for it, and then I'm like, okay, I need to walk away at this point. So that be frustrating. And make it feel like it takes forever to get through any books. Sorry. Phone was ringing. Even if I have it on silent, because all my computer gear is kind of its own little ecosystem. I use Apple. My phone's on silent, but my computer will ring. So, yeah, that's fun. Okay. Wondering about gills, if I should add some little gills, kind of like let her ear be the beginning of that, maybe. Maybe I'll make some of these fins a little bigger. They're kind of getting lost. They're very much getting lost. Even the tail a little bit. Let's see. One of the things I had to run out of the house yesterday to do while I was running errands is I needed a couple of small frames. There is a place downtown Arlington Heights that opened relatively recently called the Empty Corner, and it's sort of this like it's an artist space. They do events and they show art, and they have some talks and things, and it's really cool, and I keep meaning to check it out, and through the winter, every time that I thought I'd go, there's either something comes up or yeah. It hasn't happened yet. But they're doing a show the end of this month. That's 100 under 100. So it's 100 pieces of art by local artists, and they're all going to be under $100. And they accepted 2 small pieces from me, so I just needed to get them framed up and ready to hang. Coffee pause. So, because these are very, meant to be very reasonably priced things, I wasn't gonna go out and have custom hundreds of dollars of framing done on them. So I bought some frames that will fit the overall size, but I will need to cut the mats to go in them. So that's something I need to get done this morning. I bought the frames yesterday. Today I need to cut the mats, get them put in, and put some hanging hardware on there too. Okay, what was I doing? Fins. I was doing fins. Let's get that one nice and a little more dramatic. There we go. Think that's big enough, maybe? So, yeah, that helps a little bit. I'll do the same with the other ones. Just need to make sure I mix enough paint. I'm working with small amounts of paint because I'm working with small amounts of paint on tiny canvases, so I'm trying not to put too much down or mix too much more than I'm going to get around to using. But I also then have the tendency to need to remix it, but I'm working with very simple things here. It's not like working on skin tones, although I have done some of that here too, where, maybe matching your color is going to be a little bit more of a pain. Yeah, okay, so let's do the bottom one, and then I'm going to need to add shadows back in. Nice and big on the bottom one. Here's something I didn't think about. Let me see, can I pick this up a bit? I really like the shape of the tail that I'm doing, which is kind of not very realistic and weird, and I'm not following that right now. I'm not being consistent with that, so we can correct that a little bit. Make her look like a rocket ship ladyfish. Why not? Why not? To gill or not to gill? I also need to beef up these little tendrils on top of her head. I'm going to just spin this guy around to work on those so I can see all right. I am letting that color blend in to her face as it gets down to the skin, so it looks a little bit attached. I think it's actually part of her, not just a thing sitting on her for this particular piece. And let's see, I need a little dramatic. It's like her hair. If fish had hair, maybe it would be kind of like this. Why not? Framing things is not my favorite thing to do. But this last year I did finally break down and buy my own mat cutter, which I never thought I'd have any interest in doing, but boy, that can save you some money. Custom mats, like even if you have like frames that you found that you're gonna repurpose, which I've done, and all you need to make it work is the right size mat for your artwork. And you go like Blick, and I think Michael's and such places will occasionally have those half off framing or 40% off framing, custom framing. And even then, like I did that last year for a project in a pinch, and I was still kind of shocked at the price of it at half off. Wow. Where I didn't know that it would be worth it to spend the money on and figure out how to use and store a mat cutter. I very quickly learned that absolutely that was going to be worth it. If you're going to do much framing of your own things. I'd also thought that I'd try to frame some of my own, like I'm talking about frames that are going to hold a paper art with glass in front of them. Framing canvases, no, that's a whole nother can of worms. I have a tendency to just finish my edges rather than frame them out. Just get nice gallery wrapped canvases, so if there's no staples on the side, paint it black or whatever, and it's ready to hang. And I looked into building my own frames last year. I even bought some wood. I think you can actually probably even see some of it behind me, leaning against the door back there, those tall pieces of thin boards. And I bought a little saw with a little box so I could cut 45-degree angles. And yeah, that did not work. Definitely need access to some power tools to make that be a thing. But it was a nice idea. Maybe one day, if I ever have a garage, I'll get some power tools and build my own stuff. I did learn how to use power tools back in the day, being freshman year of college. Oh my gosh, sorry, more calls that my computer is ringing when I don't want it to. I'll have to look into changing that setting. This has never been an issue before. Why I'm getting calls all of a sudden, I don't know. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, freshman year of college, space forms class, one of our foundations. We actually got to learn how to work with power tools in a workshop area, and I really enjoyed that. But then I was majoring in illustration, so after that class was over, I never went back and used anything. Also, I did pretty badly in that class. I get all excited about the projects and be like, oh, this is going to be really neat, and I would always like so overestimate my capabilities to accomplish a thing, and it would never turn out good, so I would always like not get the best grades. But you know, you try. And I did learn how to use the equipment. That's been a few years ago now. I would definitely need refreshers. That was fun. Back then. One day again. Yeah, I mean, how much money you're going to save if you are capable of building your own frames. And I think if you really want, even if you just build your own frames for like paper with matting and such, if all that you have to do from a framer is get your nice glass, you're still going to come out saving a lot of money. The only thing is if you want like the fancy frames. I tend to like cleaner, simpler frames for my stuff. And there are certainly instances where some of my more over-the-top work could potentially work with an over-the-top frame for fun, but you know, that's like it's that kind of thing can be very, very pricey too. So, you know, you gotta weigh the pros and the cons and make your priorities. Apologies, I think I just hit the mic with my brush. It's the danger of having it near my workspace. It probably wouldn't hurt for me to get one that is like on a stand so I can like have it not on the table, but you know, one day, eventually. Okay. Coming along, I think I'd really like to bump up some shadow though. I think still it's a little flat. The whole body of the fish is a little flat, so we'll increase the shadow there, add some more shadow on the fins. So across the board, we're gonna do some of that. And let me think, what brush do I still want to use? This one. No, maybe not. I don't know. I think I'll go with yeah, this is an older round brush that's a little not so sharp in the tip anymore, so it kind of gives me a little softer approach, even though it's nice and small, so I can do some more little areas. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so take some purple, and some orange. It's really, I can't see it. Purple and orange will give you a kind of really hot brownish neutral shade, so I'm gonna let that be a little wet so that I can add this on as almost like a glaze over both the purple and the yellow without mixing two different shadow tones for one and painting them on individually on those colors. So kind of working that in. Yeah, I like that. I think then I just need to, because it's a very warm shadow, warm up some of my other shadow spots that are cooler, so it's a little bit consistent. Clean up this edge back here that I got a little fuzzy on. Yeah, that's better. It's better. See if I want to add another layer on that or not. Anything that I do up to the face, I try to blend into the face a little bit. shadow on the bottom of her jawline should kind of match the tone of this shadow. All right, let's get some of that on the fins. Since that fin is almost entirely underneath in the shadow area, kind of beef that up a little bit. Yeah, that works. I think that works. Let me make sure I'm connected here. Morbid Sniper, hello, how are you today? Still trying to work on my little guys here and see what I can get done today. Let the fin cast a little shadow on the body. There, that I needed that. I don't know why I forgot about that. And a little bit on the bottom of this fin. Getting a little dangerously close to the edge over here. So I do need to be a little bit mindful of that. Doing well, good to hear. Bright and relatively early, although we are heading towards the noon hours. Alright, come on, mate. I'm surprised how much remembering to add this shadow made a difference. How about that? Okay. One more to address. And I should probably do some on the tendrils too. Fish lady's hair. And then we ought to be in pretty good shape on this guy, unless I decide that I need to do more, which is always a possibility. That eternal question of deciding when something is done. The fish reminds me of the fish from Dreamcast. The fish had a human face and you had to take care of it. Good funny memories. I seem to remember something about that. Maybe I saw it. I didn't have a Dreamcast, but I think I saw something on maybe a YouTube video. Wasn't Leonard Nimoy Spock one of the voices in there? Very trippy, weird stuff, which I appreciate. Weird is good. Weird is interesting. And that's kind of the whole point of all this that I'm working on now. Paint. Usually I get about an hour and a half out of my paint before it starts to get funky on me, but today, it might be because the window's open and it's warmer. It's getting a little stiff on me earlier than I would prefer. After I finish these pieces, I'm going to need to think of doing something different next. I mean, of course different, but like different. Very different. Maybe, yeah, due to work on some more watercolor stuff probably, and or larger. Larger's good too. I still have 2 or 3 paintings that I think I've brought up on the stream that haven't been messed with much since then, just because there's just always so much to do and so much to mess around with. Okay. And I do think I'm going to add, yes, weird is fun. Absolutely. I'm going to add gills, but I'm going to look at a picture really quick because I don't fish gills, just so that I'm not completely making things up. And that brought up where to buy fish. No, I want pictures. Show me pictures of fish gills. Ooh. Okay. Got a little more detailed there than I expected. So, yeah, okay. So we're just gonna... That means I gotta make a little bit more of my kind of purpley pinky tone that I used for the fish, which, if I remember correctly, somewhere in here. We're just gonna add like maybe 1 or 2 more gills. I want them to parallel the ear. So the ear is kind of like one of them. Oh, come on, paint. Work with me here. All right, let's just get our... Maybe I just get my shadow tone in place, go back, add the highlights, and... Oh, sorry. Not only throwing myself into my work, but throwing it into myself into the camera. That's a great thing to do. All right. That doesn't look great yet, but we're going to, when I add the highlight back in, hopefully that will kind of make sense. If not, we're throwing the whole thing away. No, we're not. Rarely ever do I get to that point with a piece of artwork. Not that it's never happened, and usually at least first, before I'm gonna get the point where I'm like, I hate everything and I'm throwing this away. If I really, really believe that something is like unsavable, like I'm not really gonna be able to bring this back. And when I work on canvas, you can always do it by, you know, gesso over the whole thing and start over. But if I'm working on something and it's clearly not gonna go in the direction I want it to, and I can't, like if it's paper I'm working on especially, and you can't really save that, then I kind of will just decide to let that be an excuse to go nuts and experiment. Before I throw it all away, I just start messing around. Like, okay, this didn't work. Well, what happens if I throw this, this, and this at that, and maybe tear this into these pieces and put them back together that way? And so that becomes like a playground to try ideas in a way where I don't have to worry about what really happens, and I can just, you know, oh, there was the mic again, these long brushes, sorry. I'm a walking disaster sometimes. That's too light, maybe. But we're getting there. What do you like? Fish, storms, or something? I'm not sure I understand the context of the question. I was probably talking about something and now I don't remember. Fish, storms, or something. See, this is the problem with me. I don't remember what I was saying just a minute ago. What do you enjoy? Oh, what do I enjoy in life? Okay, well, that's a broad question. I like art. I like music. I listen to a bunch of different kinds of music, but lately I've been on a bit of a like 90s girl punk rock, riot girl kick, kind of reliving some of that stuff. But I like a lot of noise music, and I grew up an industrial kid in the 90s, love industrial music and noise, and now I like some indie and electronic and something apparently called art pop, which I never knew was a thing until I got my Spotify annual roundup of this is what you've been listening to. Yeah, art pop. I like post-punk music too. So I haven't gone to concerts since the pandemic, really. I haven't gotten back to doing that, but yeah, probably eventually. I like weird things. I have a huge love for horror movies. I've talked about it on a few occasions. If I'm just reached the end of the day and I'm relaxing, I will usually just throw on Shudder. I have Shudder it's a dedicated horror streaming app, which is wonderful and very much worth the money if you're a fan. Okay, I'm not loving these gills as they are right now, but I think I'm going to walk away from them for a hair and see how I feel about it. If I come back, I say that and then I'm mixing more paint. I'm like, wait, I'm going to try a thing. I think the shape's not quite right. And maybe they're a little too dark. Maybe I made them a little too big. I have an idea what you can do. Ooh, let's hear it. Yeah, besides movies and music, I like exploring weird things. I like trying different foods. Sometimes I enjoy cooking. I go through phases. And you know, it's been a long time since I've had sushi. I'd really like some good sushi one of these days. Get around to that again. That was not the right color. Okay. I said like 5 minutes ago that I was going to walk away from this for a little bit. Alright, I think I'm officially... Yeah. Okay, let's let that be for a while. Pull out my mushroom girl, do a few mushrooms, get some... Now I've done quite a few of these in neutral tones already. I'd like to kind of lean into some more colorful, maybe not entirely realistic, but different colors of mushrooms to keep it fun. So these couple of guys up here I didn't finish before. I was waiting for them to dry and then moved on to other things. So add a little bit more color in there. And then I'll go back also and get more highlight too. I want them to be kind of bumpy, textury guys. All right, the highlight should take care of those. Once that dries a little bit, this should be pretty fast. Let's see. What other colors do we need for the mushrooms? I think some blue would be good. Good thing I put on my blue color a little bit. This getting dried out too fast. I really do need to, I guess, break out my wet palette again. Why don't you try to make a factory? Could be night and you could replace the stars with music notes. Factories can be interesting. They're kind of, especially the ones with all the piping and exhaust and smokestacks and things. They're like horrible and interesting at the same time. I did not finish mixing my color and I went ahead and just going right in there. No, I don't want it to be too purple. And they're also hideous. They're like a combination of like the beautiful, intricate industrial design, not actual industrial design, but industry and design, but also kind of awful. Because so many of them are putting out so much awful stuff. That works for me for like my mid-tone on some of these guys. I think I want it to be a little more tealy, kind of like minty-ish almost. Let's see if this is too light. Yeah, a little bit. That works, I think. Mushrooms are so neat. They're just, some of them are so strange. Many of them are delicious or poisonous, one or the other. So always gotta be careful with that. That's something that for a while, I don't know, is it still a thing where people talk about foraging and finding food to eat, just like in your neighborhood, in the forest preserve? I would probably end up picking things that would end up killing me. So I've never tried. But I do remember how nice it was, like the house I grew up in. We had so many like fruit. We had some fruit trees when I was very, very young. We'd grow strawberries and raspberry bushes galore. There was some grapes on a vine. When I was really little, we had a peach tree for a while that produced an insane amount of peaches. And gooseberries. Like, where am I ever going to find gooseberries again unless I have a yard and plant my own gooseberry bush? Those were amazing. What else did we have? We had apple trees that we usually couldn't beat all the insects to. Pear tree for a while. Rhubarb. That's another thing that I'll miss because, I mean, you can buy it probably pretty soon around now in the stores. It won't be long before rhubarb is there. But man, they charge you an arm and a leg for like 2 stalks, and what are you going to do with that? Can't make a pie out of that. So while I am a terrible killer of plants, no matter how much I try, I would, if I ever, have my own yard, that is definitely, I would like to have some of those things that hopefully don't need a whole lot of effort from my part because I would fail them. Morbid Sniper says, I'm horrible at art. Creative writing is more my pace. Hey, that's okay. Crab apples, yeah, I think it was crab apples that were growing there, I believe. Everybody can, I mean, we all maybe have our things creatively that we maybe have some natural gift towards, and then there's certainly the level of being able to develop any skill that we're interested in. And I think, like, so many people who are, like, I've just always been good at art. Where that comes from is probably you were a kid and you draw, and people would praise you for something that you did. If somebody that you look up to says, oh, you're such a good artist, when you're very young, and that leaves an impression. You're like, oh, I'm good at this, so I will keep doing this. And then it becomes like your thing, or the same thing with any other skills, perhaps. Oh, you're so good at math. You always get best grades at math. And you like internalize, oh, this is me. I'm good at this thing. And you kind of develop a focus on it. That can happen from a young age. And I think that's where you have the people being like, I've just always been an artist, or I've just always been a musician, or I've just always been, whatever it is, always done this. It's a lot to do with having somebody recognize something in us, legitimately or otherwise, because when you're kids, people sometimes will go a little gaga over things that you're a kid and they just love you, so they're gonna say those. Sorry, I'm topping off my coffee. I have a little thermos of extra coffee, so I don't have to leave the room to go top it off. Yeah, so I don't know that anybody truly has like innate abilities for anything. There comes a point where whatever you naturally develop for yourself that you think of as natural will reach a ceiling where you have to start to put that effort in to get better and learn skills and push yourself to do it. And if it truly is something you feel good about, then you probably will just naturally do that. Mary Beth, good insights. I fell into the trap of you are so good. Yeah, and if it's something that you enjoy and you love to do, then hey, it obviously clicked something in you where it's like, well, that makes me feel good. And that's fine. I'm sure it's the same thing for me. I don't remember a whole ton enough about that, but I'm almost certain that would be the case also. Morbid Sniper, I lived in a forested area when I was young. I'm good with finding my way through woods and forests, and I'm good at climbing, especially trees. Yeah, that's awesome. I definitely didn't grow up near forests. I spent a decent amount of time at my grandparents' farm where there was a little bit of forested area, but I fell prey to the girl thing, where, you're not supposed to climb trees. You're going to get dirty, you're going to hurt yourself, and those types of tropes that we teach. We teach girls still, I think, very much, still happens to this day, but I think it's maybe better. I like to hope it's better. the one thing I see. Yeah, that's no fun, right? I did ride my bike around town a lot when I was very young. One thing I notice, because with the classes that I teach of kids, and it's majority, not all, but majority girls. Absolutely. I'm pushing all of the time. I spend some Thursday, the print and drawing room studying the masters. Amazing inches from my eyes. Original art from masters. That's awesome. That is like some of the best learning you can have, is just say what these incredible people have done. If I was with you when we were kids, I would have tried to make you not follow those traps. Well, I appreciate that. I was very much my own person either way, as my parents would attest to. I was, especially getting into like later junior high and high school, I was the scary goth freak kid, and I kind of relished in that persona. And also, people kind of left me alone, which was great. Mary Beth, you may remember some of seeing me around wearing head to toe all black garb back in those days. Yeah, that was a time. I tried to have fun with it. I was a little angry too, because some of it comes from there. But by and large, like, that was also just like, I enjoyed doing that. And yeah, I recently come across some photos from high school, and they're somewhere between endearing and embarrassing. We'll catch you later, Morbid Sniper. Thanks for stopping in. Enjoy your pickleball. Yeah, and I've gotten my conversation thought line has meandered so far, I don't even remember where I started from. But either way, I think I was gonna think that I'd finish these and then have time to do all this cutting out stuff. But I think I will try to get the last little bits of mushrooms here done before we color. I'm gonna add a little yellow into these guys. Right here. Just a little bit like that. Kind of a little glaze. And then maybe hit into doing some cutting stuff up and finding things to use maybe next time. I really do like to get these moving along and get them close to done. I have any paint. It's all dry. All dry. Okay. I want to add one more of these blue guys in here. Just one more. Right over here. There. Although the problem is I need a little bit more shadow on some of these that are kind of nestled in there. Train of thought has left the building. Oh my. Yeah, I want to get these guys. I feel like I've been working on them a long time, but part of that is because I'm really just primarily working on them live on stream. And not too much beyond that. I've been kind of focusing on making these like a project here. So certainly I can spend some time maybe in the next week getting a little bit more done on them so that I'll be closer to actually being able to complete them one of these days, live maybe. Okay. A little bit more shadow. So I have some differentiation between these couple guys. I'm adding too much water now because my paint's getting dried out on the palette. And which is nice if all I'm trying to do is a little bit of a glaze, which I've done a couple of here, but if I'm actually trying to put something of any meaning down, that's not working to my advantage. Okay, had that line between the two, and then I fussed with it, and it went away. All right, we'll let the paint on here dry, and I'll revisit that in a second. I realize I've missed a mushroom way back there. Maybe we'll just make him an interesting color because he's all by himself. He's lonesome. And do something. I make him a little bit orange, and then we'll kind of pull the orange and a little bit of a through line up here. Too wet. Come on. Come on, paint. Work with me here. We got things to accomplish. Well, it's not behaving very well. Let's see if I just really grab some of that. Come on. Come on, come on. We'll make it 2. I can hear the train outside, the commuter train. Feels like it's been a long time since I've been on the train, which it's a really nice thing to have. Stops right here where I can walk to it. I could take it into Chicago, and it's from here usually about an hour ride, depending on if you get a direct line in, or you're going to hit all the stops. If you get on a line that doesn't hit every single stop, it can be more like 40 minutes or something like that, which is great. But I don't take enough advantage probably for the location where I am. Going into the city in 2 weeks for the other art fair, I was talking about that earlier, which I'm super excited about now. But otherwise don't take enough advantage of the things that are right here, I think. But, you know, gotta have a point and a destination, and there's not always... It doesn't always work depending on where in the city. Like if you're going to the Loop, obviously it's great, a couple other areas, but I don't think it works well for... It doesn't work well if you're going into like East Chicago too much, Northwest area is alright, or much further north, or else you have to get off the train and find one of the lines, the L or whatever, or a bus or something. And I'm not confident in doing that at all. Very not confident about those. And I guess it was sort of a matter of necessity. Like if I was having to commute to the city on a regular basis, I would have to learn those things and be more comfortable doing it, but that just simply hasn't happened to have been the case. All right, let's go like brighter orangey yellow. So I got a couple guys really sticking off out in the back here with nice long stems. Trying to walk that line of having to add a little water to make the paint move, but not try to have it be too wet. Acrylic paint. Sometimes you are my foe. I keep thinking I don't need to set up the wet palette because I don't have that much more left to do to make it worth it. And then it's like, I have a lot left to do. Ends up being always more than I actually think it will be. Alright, I like having a few guys in this tone to pull this up, and then for a lot of what's going to be down here, I'll probably lean heavier into some like purples to create some like cross over in the colors. Oh, I know what I was thinking about a while ago, like 2 trains of thought ago. I see something in the classes that I teach with the kids now, which are in the girls. Like it tends to be very female heavy oriented in the classes. There's a lot of young women. It's the 9 to 12s, and a few young men. There is a tendency amongst my girls to, something's hard, something's gonna be too hard, this is too hard, I'm not gonna try. And that makes me very sad. Like, I try to talk to them about, especially in art class and anywhere else, like, this is a place to experiment and grow. Like, too hard doesn't exist here. You're trying something. But yeah, this like programming that they've accepted somewhere along the line, and it's in most of them. I have just a few that don't seem to be so much that way, but I actually, in one of the classes that's all girls, I said something to them about that, and they're all just like, yeah, that sounds right. Like, well, don't just accept it. But I don't know, maybe just even pointing it out to them and they'll be more aware of it. I don't know. The biggest thing you can hope to achieve in that kind of situation is to have a positive effect on them of any sort, art or otherwise. As you know, out of 30 some kids that I have in total, I don't know how many of them will actually become anything in the art field, but there's so much that they can take from it outside of just learning to put paint on canvas or to draw something. So I worry that they're so self-conscious, and they're so, at this young age already, so concerned about perfection. If they're not going to be able to do it exactly right, why would you even try? And that's so not a good way. That's not something that's going to benefit them, I don't know. I mean, my background is not in teaching. I don't have a teaching degree. I'm just a practicing artist that would like to impart, any value I can to this group of kids here. And I don't know. I hope I do. I don't know if I will. I guess if any of them take anything positive away from it, it's a win. Oh yeah, go back and get those guys a little bit. My highlights for my little dudes over here. Man, there's so many birds chirping outside. It's kind of great. I think it needs to be a little lighter, a little pinker. I don't remember what those are called. Those types of mushrooms. Oh yeah, the birds. We haven't heard too many. Like today, I'm really noticing it. We have had some cardinals around here. We generally do in the summertime. I love them, and we always have these mourning doves that will show up and like sit on our patio and just stare at us through the patio door. And mock our cat a little bit, I think. They'll just look right at him. He'll be right on the other side of the door, absolutely dying. He doesn't know what to do about it, and we don't let him outside because just where we live and such, it's not generally accepted. But oh, it just makes him, they just taunt him. It does keep him out of trouble for a while though. And that's that's always a good thing. I'm not sure how well that's working for me, but I might just have to did I have a photo? No. I had a photo of some of these, and these I had seen something and was working off of what I'd seen, but I will probably, if I can't bring it to a place where I'm okay with it, I'll have to look at a photo again and just figure out what it is that's throwing me off. Usually it's user error. All right. Some of the guys over here. Going back to some cooler purpley tones, I think. Oh, we're gonna need to go a little lighter. Get that to show up. Okay. More white. And these are meant to be those, I don't know what they're called, but those little mushrooms that kind of like form little flat shelves going up. They're like little discs that come out. That's what these are supposed to be. We can get them to look like that a bit more. I had laid in some kind of shadowy tones. One of the early days I was working on this one, but it's not quite clear what we got. Oh, look who's here. Hi, Watson. What you doing? You bored? On Monday evening when I was streaming, He's like reminding me it's time to get some food pretty soon. So he gets up and he walks across here, and I'm like, oh no, don't walk on the paint. I move him. I'd moved some paint over the other side and didn't notice that he did walk through. He got one paw with some of the dioxazine purple on it. And when I get up at the end of the stream, which was just shortly after that, turn around and there's like purple paw prints on the rug that and win, because it's the $25 rug that I bought used for this purpose, not on the carpeting. I did make sure that he was fine, and I got out some carpet spot cleaner, tried to manage that a little bit, but man, can't turn your head for too long. This guy. I had this happen a little while ago. I think it was it last summer? My mom was gonna be gone from her place for, I think, about a week. So I did a little bit of cat sitting for her. I went in and checked on her cat. Stayed there one night. And I'd brought some stuff to work on. So I had some projects going. And I set up a little card table with a, little cover over it, and was doing some painting. And her cat, who is not usually, like, he's an older guy now. He's not the most, like, into everything. But he got up on that table. Luckily I was sitting right there with him. And he got up there and stepped right into the paint. And then I'm like, oh no, and I go to grab him, and he's like, oh my god, what? And he starts trying to run away. And he's like leaving paw prints all over the floor. And it was just, oh my god. That poor guy. I had to snatch him up, go to the sink, wash off his paw, try to make sure that he was gonna be fine, and then quickly get back out, clean off the floor before the paint had an opportunity to dry on the floor. Oh, so lessons that should be learned but haven't truly yet been absorbed, apparently. They keep you on your toes, these little fuzzy guys. Too wet. Alright, just adding little bits of highlight on the edge, because they're kind of a little more covered by other mushrooms and things, and on the opposite side of a little further from the lighting source. So just little tiny bits, little tiny touches of some highlight. On a few of them. And I think I'm pretty happy with these guys, I think. And I was actually a little bit worried. It worked out okay. And then I just have one more maybe set to go in here. And the mushrooms will be nearly done. So, okay, I got the purple, and then I don't want to go with the blue because it's right on this blue. Maybe some kind of a more greenish blue, perhaps. Oh, this blue paint is not held up well for me here. Alright, that's dry. So we're just going to mix over here on top of what I had. Well, that's green, but not greenish blue. Let's go pull some more More of that in here. And as is, that pulls up a lot of, neutralize it a little bit. I don't want to be too close to the tree color, or the tree, her shirt. I tell you, some days start getting slap happy at a certain point. Well, I'm losing those, but a little bit of shadow or highlight ought to help take care of that. I might just kind of place them in and then get some kind of approximate shapes and positions. And then I can come back in and work out the details. Now maybe that color doesn't work great because it's very close in tone to the background, but if I get some lighter, like mid-tone here, that might help. I'm gonna go a little bit more like button shaped with these guys, I think. Smaller and rounder. And they can kind of overlap with our purple ones down here a little bit. I saw an ad trailer, I guess. There's gonna be a Bob Ross movie coming out, and I'm kind of curious about it. I think Owen Wilson is playing him, which seems really weird. Oh, hello back, Morbid Sniper. We are just painting mushrooms and I'm still blathering. I was just saying I saw that Owen Wilson is gonna play Bob Ross in a movie about him, and I'm kind of curious about it. It looks like it might be interesting. Of course, I'm not a big I don't really go to the theater, so I usually wait for movies to come out for streaming. So it'll probably be a while before I have a chance to catch it, but yeah, you know, I'm not like a big Bob Ross believer. I appreciate what he did, or not believer, but fan of like the paintings that he did, but I appreciate like what he did to kind of bring people into trying things and being creative and making it accessible. And there's no denying that it's just straight up soothing to to watch him work. And there are channels, I think there's a Twitch channel, and I think on Pluto TV there's a channel where they just stream his painting videos like 24/7. So you could literally just put them on in the background while you're doing other things or trying to fall asleep at night, and his talking is very soothing. So it's kind of, I find him to be interesting. It is also interesting the way that I think it seemed, I haven't gone and looked into this a whole lot, and but I understand that there's some controversy about the people who own his estate and how it's being used So I probably should look into that a little bit too, because certainly don't want to like contribute to any weird unethical abuse of artists' work and name, but I don't know if that has anything to do with the production of this movie or not. Interested in that movie as well. He got caught up in his mother. He sure did. I don't know enough to like remember the different names of different mushrooms. Even when I learn them, it doesn't tend to stick in my head. I just really enjoy them in general. I find them to be very interesting and weird little types of, I mean, they're like their own thing. They're not animal or like plant, but they're just their own weird little fungus type of living thing. It's fascinating. So I guess I kind of like them all. There's some interesting ones that grow on a tree in the back of our building that are kind of like the shape like this, where they go up the side of the tree, and they're really big and wavy and bright orange. Those are cool. I have no idea what type they are. Shelf life of 24 hours, but high nutritious value. Ooh. I do love to eat about any kind of mushroom. I had lots of underhanded handling from what I read. Yeah. And of him as a performer. Yeah, it seems like the movie might get into a little bit of that about like as his performance stuff. I don't know if it'll delve a whole lot into like the situation of things as they are now with his estate. I don't know if that will be touched on at all in the movie. I'm guessing maybe not, but I don't know. Oh my goodness. Hello, Watson. What, is it getting close to your lunchtime? Oh, it is. It is indeed. He's on a schedule for when we feed him, which is helpful because he reminds me when it's lunchtime or dinner time, and then that will remind me to eat as well, because I'm not always the best at remembering to take care of myself also. So he manages to help take care of me too, even if he doesn't realize it. And I think he's gone already. He just came in to yell at me and remind me it's almost lunchtime. Right. Is that it? I think I might be good with this for my mushroom lady. Alright, well I didn't get into all the other media stuff that I had thought of. These things took a little longer than I had anticipated, but I'm really happy to have basically finished these two, I think. Or this part of them anyway. I'll still gotta add in all the fun textural things and words and stuff. Yes, what is the downside of inky cap mushrooms? I know some of them are poisonous, and so gotta be careful about that. Yeah, I think I'm happy. Ooh, I think I need to add shadow on the back of her shirt, and as long as I still have paint out, let's just do that. I'll just give it a little kind of glazy layer. It probably is not enough. Nope. My palette is such a mess right now. But I think I mostly keep track of what's going on there. Mostly. Maybe actually A little highlight might help as well to affect the contrast here. Shoulder, get her shoulder in there, a little brighter. Yeah. I could mess around and tweak this all day, for better or worse, but I think I will not. As my cat pointed out, it's about lunchtime, and my paints have reached that point in the day, in the project. They're not working so well with me. And you know what I'm seeing? I'm like losing her neck. So I don't know, maybe beefing up a little bit of shadow as well as maybe a little bit of highlight, both might help there. I'm kind of doing a little bit of the same things I did with this guy, trying to let them feed into her face, but it's not really as nearly as much. I didn't really focus on that too much. Hit the mic again. Apologies. Can't be trusted with anything. Come on. Oh, my paint is just called it a day over here. Just a little bit more of an attempt to fix that shadow. And then I'll stop abusing my picture here. There. This might be good enough for now. And hopefully I don't decide I need to go back in and do more stuff, but you never know. Yeah, you guys have a great day too. Thanks for joining me while I blather on and try to embrace some creativity over here. We will continue this adventure Monday evening, 7 p.m. Central. And hopefully at that point, we're really going to be starting to wrap these guys up. So yeah, I appreciate the company as well. Thanks guys, and have a great one. Go be creative today and enjoy the weather. Bye.